Trick or treat, smell my feet, cook me up something pumpkin ready to eat. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I recreated this really beautiful pumpkin look. I used some glitter and water activating liners and of course a palette to recreate this. First things first, of course I have to show you my beautiful earrings that inspired the look, and I even added some cute butterfly clips that matched. Today I'm going to be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and as you can see we have beautiful warm browns, oranges, and even some pinks in there. First things first, I'm going to use the color Perfectionist, and with the fluffy brush I'm going to go ahead and apply that on my crease, and with windshield wiping motion I'm going to go back and forth until I get it nice and blended. Since this is a lighter color, I did go in the palette a few times to just darken up that crease because this color is going to be what's behind the pumpkin. And while I blend that color out, did you know that most pumpkins contain up to 500 plus seeds? That's a lot of seeds to be digging out of those pumpkins. Next, I'm going to be using the color Grateful, and I'm going to be applying that, only focusing that in the crease, but I'm going to keep it compacted so it's just centered in that area. And this is going to be the shadow of where we're going to be carving the pumpkin. I did go into this color a few times as well, just to darken it and deepen that color. Roasted pumpkin seeds are both tasty and nutritious. They are low in calories and high in protein and iron. Pumpkin seeds are always going to hold a special place in my heart because growing up my grandparents had a farm in Mexico, and my grandpa would be the one to roast the pumpkin seeds and salt them, and he would send us over a big bag back to the United States. And as a kid, I didn't know how to eat it. I didn't know that you were supposed to spit out the shell and just eat the inside, but now as an adult I cannot eat the seed without eating it as a whole because it just reminds me so much of my childhood. And now I'm going to go back into the color Perfectionist, and I'm going to blend out the color Grateful, the one that we just did, and make sure both of those colors are nicely blended. Next, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Full Wear Concealer in the color Ivory, which is 330, to cut that crease. And as you can see, we're cutting it all the way down from one side to the other, almost like half a sun. Did you know that the first jack-o'-lanterns weren't made from pumpkins at all? They were actually made from turnips. A folk tale said that stingy Jack tried to trick the devil into paying for his bar tab. After Jack died, the devil wouldn't let Jack cross over to the afterlife. Instead, he had to wander the earth at night, lit by a single coal. He put his coal in the hollowed-out turnip and earned the nickname Jack of the Lantern. This Irish tale led to the tradition of carving turnips in Jack's likeness to keep him at bay. Interesting. When Irish immigrants moved to America, they found pumpkins much more suitable for carving than turnips, and the modern jack-o'-lantern was born. With a flat, compact brush, I'm going to pick up the color My Man, and I'm going to be applying that where we just cut the crease and pack that color on until we get it nice and pigmented. A little bit about me. My favorite colors are orange, green, purple, and black, and they happen to be the colors of Halloween. And October is my favorite month, and not just because of Halloween, but because it's also my birth month. I was born on October 21st. Now that we've packed on that color, we're going to get an angled brush, and with the same concealer that we used to carve our crease, we're going to try to make the pumpkin stem. I had a little bit of difficulty making the stem, but I did like that this angled brush kind of gave me an idea of how I wanted the stem to look. Obviously, we know that pumpkin stems aren't perfect, they have different sizes and shapes to them, but this brush did help get the idea across. I ended up using a thinner brush to kind of get the lines more sharp, and it really did help fill in the gaps that I had missed. So I do recommend just experimenting with different brushes until you get the desired stem that you want. Morton, Illinois is considered the pumpkin capital of the world. Morton is home to Libby's, the producer of 85% of the world's canned pumpkin. Next, I'm going into the color G Money, which is this beautiful brown color, and with the flat brush I'm going to be packing that on where we just carved the stem. And this part, it does not have to be perfect because we are going to be using a glitter gel liner to kind of cover up that brown and give it a nice sparkly look. Next, I'm going to be using the Simadu Gold Glitter Liner, and I'm going to be using that to carve out the pumpkin, and as well as making those ridges. And before I forget, I want to mention that none of these products are sponsored, and all the information that I am providing today as far as the facts are all located online. And with that being said, though everyone likes to think that pumpkin spice is relatively a new addition to the food world, it really isn't. Spice producer McCormick and Company introduced their signature pumpkin pie spice way back in 1934, which is a blend of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and allspice. Pumpkin pie spice was intended to streamline the process of baking homemade pumpkin pies by combining all the necessary spices into one easy-to-use ingredient. And I hate to admit it, but I am also a pumpkin spice girly. I love anything pumpkin spice, coffee, bread, scented candles, you name it. I hope that the camera is picking up the way that I'm making these lines so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. Basically, all it is I'm just making, I believe, 4 lines from the point of where the stem is and working it all the way down and kind of giving it some curve to make it look more natural. And now that we're satisfied with the way the lines look, I'm going to move on to the stem, and using the same brand, I'm using a different color. This one's more of a copper color. I'm going to be applying that to the stem. And all I'm doing is I'm just filling in that color. I'm not really doing anything special. And now that I finished the stem, I went ahead and did my base off camera, and I do look a little crazy right now because of my concealer, but we're not done with our eyes just yet. Now I'm going to be using the Clarisonic Sketch Paint Water Activating Palette, and I'm going to be using the green color. And I am using a paintbrush to draw on those curly leaves and stems. I'm pretty sure if I would have laminated my eyebrows with glue or something, it would have been a lot easier to draw over my eyebrows because they are pretty bushy and they're very dark. But the good thing about this eyeliner is that once it dries, if I just keep going back over that color, it tends to just darken up and intensify. Can you guys guess what the most popular pet costume is? It's actually a pumpkin. But there are a few that were also a runner-up, like hot dog, bat, bumblebee, and spider. I have 2 cats, and I don't think either of them would want a costume, specifically Klaus because he's feisty. He likes to bite me, so I don't think I would want to give him a costume. But Lucy, she might be able to, but she does run away because she's a little skittish still. I didn't want these eyes to match symmetrically, so what I did is on the other eye, I went a different route and I made the stems go a different way. And once you have the base of how you want your stems to look, then you can just add little curls to it, little leaves, and just customize it to your liking. Did you know that the world's largest pumpkin pie, according to the Guinness World Records, weighed 3,699 pounds and was 20 feet in diameter? It was baked by the New Bremen Giant Pumpkin Growers in New Bremen, Ohio, for the 2010 New Bremen Pumpkin Fest. That is insane. I'm pretty sure that pie fed the whole village. I mean, what are they gonna do with so much pie? Now I'm gonna go into the color Fill In Myself, and I'm going to be applying that to my bottom lash line. And I like to apply this part of the eyeshadow once I have finished my base because I feel like whenever I do it before, it just doesn't look as good. Also, why does my face look possessed? I don't know why making that face helps, but I feel like it's just a habit that anytime I get near like that area of my eye, I have to make that face. Do you guys do that too, or is it just me? Next, I'm going with the Davis Waterproof Protection Lip and Eyeliner Pencil in the color black, and I'm going to be tightening that waterline. Next, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Chameleon Highlighter. This one is one of my favorites because it does have a little hint of green in there. And I'm going to be applying that towards the inner corner. And I'm going to apply some on my cheekbone, my nose, my eyebrow bone, and inside of the little curves of the stems that we just did. Did you know that there are more than 150 different varieties of pumpkins grown worldwide? That is definitely a lot of pumpkin, and I'm wondering if you can make pumpkin pie with all of them, or only certain ones can be made for pie. Next, I'm going to be using some gemstones, and I'm only going to be using the green ones today. And I love that this packaging does include small ones and big ones, so I can just change the variety of size. And all I'm doing is I'm just applying a little bit of glitter that it came with, and I'm only sticking it towards the areas that I think would look cute. So in this step, you can add as little or as much as you would like. Now that I was satisfied with the amount of gemstones on my eyes, I'm going to be using the NYX Epic Ink Liner, and I'm just going to be applying it close as I can to my eyelashes. Next, I'm going to be using the Essence Call Me Queen Mascara, and I'm going to be applying that to my top and bottom lashes. Now that I have finished applying mascara to my lashes, I'm going to be applying some falsies, and I got this package from Temu, but I don't remember the brand or how to locate them. I just know it came like this, but I'm going to be applying that on top of the eyeliner that we just did. And sometimes with lashes, you do have to mess with them and adjust them until you get them just right, because sometimes they do tend to unstick, and they should look something like this. Next, I'm going to be using the NYX Lip Liner pencil in the color Nude Truffle, and I'm going to be outlining the outside of my lip. I really like NYX lip pencils because I feel like they're super creamy, and 9 times out of 10 they're true to the color. This one, as you can see, matches my skin tone pretty perfect, at least for my lips, and it's very, very natural looking. Also, my lips might look a little purple, and that's because I was eating a popsicle earlier that day. Next, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place lipstick in the color Lady, which looks like this. It's a very beautiful natural color, and I just love the way the form of the lipstick is. And just look at that beautiful application. I really like Juvia's Place's lipstick formula because it's very creamy and it doesn't feel drying like some other lipsticks do. Next, I'm going to be using the Morphe lip gloss, and the color is Freebird. And it's a very beautiful natural gloss. It's going to go on top of that color that I just applied on my lips. This look could also be paired with a black lip, a darker brown, even an orange, but I think the nude gave it the best combination because it makes the eyes be the center of attention. And that is all for this look. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!